Alright guys, on this video we're going to continue on with practicing some unit circle skills here. However, this one I'm going to focus on tangents and cotangents, if that's alright. So, on number 3, I see that on my question I don't have a pi in it, so therefore my answers needs to be in pi. So I'm looking for where we are instead of what we have. Now, the thing that I ask you guys always to do is to write down what all you know. So we know that tangent is y over x. And somehow this has to equal 1, as we see. Now, the thing that I'm asking you guys to think is that when are any fractions equal 1? And my hope is that you guys do remember in class that we talked about how if we have same thing over same thing, then we get our answer as 1, and no matter what type of fraction it is. For example, if it is 3 over 3, it's 1. 4 over 4, it's 1, and on and on and on. Now, let's use a fact to answer this question here. However, since I don't have a cheat sheet on the top, I'm going to do what I advise you guys to do in my classroom. I'm going to write down the cheat sheets here. So if it's over 6 pi, I know it's going to be 3 over, because the biggest number goes on there. Okay, and if it's over 4 pi, it's the same one, root 2 is all across. And I'm also going to write down over 3 pi. That one's going to have smallest number starts with smallest number, which is 1. And you know it's always over 2. So that's my cheat sheet. And you'll see why this is helpful on your test and any of the worksheets that you're about to do. So we are saying that y has to equal x based on the fact that that turns out to be 1. Good. Now, we're going to come back to that. I want you to kind of get that in your mind, think about it. However, let's go ahead and think about where we are. On our quadrant, somehow, if I put 1 over the other, I must get a positive 1. So let's take a look at our signs here. This side is positive, positive, left and up, left and down, and right and down. Now, if I were to imagine this as like a fraction, if this is y and x, if I put positive over positive, I get a positive number, so that quadrant checks out. If I were to put a positive over negative, that gives me negative, so that's not it. Negative over negative, negative over negative gives you a positive number. Likewise, the fourth quadrant wouldn't be our choice because negative over positive gives us a negative answer when we need a positive answer. So we got that figured out. Now step number 2, what type of triangle is it? Well, we know that y has to equal x. So on my cheat sheet, these are all my x's and these are all my y's. So I'm going to figure out at which one of these are we going to get x and y as the same. So it's clear to me that, over 4 is the one that with same x's and y. So we know at both of these it has to be over 4s. And we're going to use the same strategy as we did before. We know on this corner it's going to be 4 over 4 pi. On this corner it's a double that amount, which is 8 over 4 pi. However, my first one is always going to be 1 over 4. The one on my third quadrant is going to be 1 after 4, which is 5 over 4 pi. So my thetas are going to be 1 over 4 pi and 5 over 4 pi. Now let's go ahead and go through one more example, and I hope this will help you guys out. Number 4 is still tangent, but I want to know when this is equal 0. And let's go ahead and do another one simultaneously. When tangent of theta equal undefined. Now once again, we're going to talk about what tangents are. Tangent is y over x. So we're saying this entire fraction should equal 0. Now, I hope that you guys do remember in class that we talked about in any fraction, if you have a numerator as a 0, then the entire fraction becomes a 0. So in this case, we know that y is 0. So y is 0. Now let's apply that on our quadrants. And I know this is very informal, but I'm going to do it anyway. If I say y is 0, like, that means I don't have y. So I'm going to pretend like I don't have any y-axis. I don't have y because y is 0. If I have $0, I got no money. So, since y is 0, it leaves us with these two quadrants, these two corners, excuse me. And those two corners in our class, we decided that was pi, and that's 2 pi. So our thetas would be pi and 2 pi. Likewise on number 5. Once again, tangent is still y over x. However, this time my fraction is undefined. And we made it clear in class that fraction is, because you can't divide anything by 0. Therefore, this time my x has to be 0 based on the fact that your fraction was undefined. Let's use the same analogy. So this time my x is 0. So if I don't got no 0, so I don't got no, I'm sorry. If I don't got no x-axis, we don't have x. That leaves you with the y-axis. So the top and bottom corners, which are 1 over 2 pi and 3 over 2 pi. So my thetas are going to be 1 over 2 pi and 3 over 2 pi. And I knew that my answers would be in pi's because on my problem they did not give us pi in it. So I hope this helped. So there's 3 things that we've learned about a fraction in general, not even about unit circles. So we've learned that if we have same thing over same thing, that gives us 1. And I know you knew that, but I'm just gonna organize your brain. So if you have something over 0, so if your denominator is on your if your denominator has a 0, that's undefined. And if you have a 0 on your numerator of a fraction, that gives you 0 as an answer.